Hello everybody, it's MrGamer here, and today I'm bringing you a very exciting video about Fallout 4. This is a trailer breakdown of everything I've found so far in the trailer. There may be a few things I've missed, so if I have, be sure to put anything in the comments, and I'll see if there's a lot I've missed, then I'll make another video explaining it all. So starting straight away, first thing I noticed was the Enclave ship in the air, the Enclave helicopter, sorry. I believe it's an Enclave helicopter. It looks very much like the ones from Fallout 3. And later on in the trailer we see this next screenshot which looks much like it, just maybe a different model of one. So it is pretty cool. We might be seeing the Enclave in Fallout 4, which is awesome. Next thing is Vault 111, which is interesting because there's nothing on any Fallout wikis about Vault 111. We know nothing about it. And in the trailer it shows what I'm assuming is the player climbing out of Vault 111. So possibly you start in Vault 111 and then climb out and then you're out in the wasteland again, which is pretty awesome, just like Fallout 3. Next thing we have here is this monument building. Now with some research with my friend Tom, we managed to find out that it's actually in Boston, which is a rumour that came out ages and ages ago about the next Fallout game. And we believe it's the Bunker Hill Monument. As you can see, the structure is very similar. There's the little building next to it. It's obviously not going to be identical because it is in the game, but we believe it's the same thing, so that sort of puts it in Boston. Next thing that I noticed was this ship is actually modelled from a real ship that is made called the USS Constitution, I believe it's called. Yeah, as you can see from this screenshot, it looks very much similar to it. You can see on the back it says Constitution, and on the in-game one you can just about make it out. The screenshot isn't that good, but it's the best I could get. But it's modelled from a real ship, which is pretty awesome. Next screenshot we have is this Scully Square, I believe it's called, which is another place in Boston, which is really awesome. So settings definitely confirmed to be Boston / Massachusetts. Next thing you'll see here, if any person that's played Fallout before will know exactly what this is, a Deathclaw, which is amazing that they're making their amazing return, because wow, they were really fun in the last games. No, yeah, no, it's pretty awesome that they're coming back. It's like the world's worst enemy just right there, but it's awesome that they're coming back. And after this we see what I assume to be the new ghouls. Which is pretty awesome. They sort of look more feral than before, so instead of just like walking around slowly, not really knowing what they're doing, they're sort of like running about manically and like ripping stuff up and everything. It's pretty awesome. Then after this, you see this sort of stadium area, and the reason why I say it's a stadium is because just outside you can see a statue of a baseball player. Now, looking at Massachusetts / Boston, there is one stadium called Fenway Stadium, I believe it's called, Fenway Park, or something along those lines, which looks very similar. It looks just like this. It's sort of got that green like look to it, much like the one in game. So putting them together, you can sort of see that they're probably the same thing. So that's pretty awesome. Next up, we have what I believe is called Diamond City. You can see from this screenshot here. Towards the left of the screen it says Diamond City Supplies, so I'm assuming this is going to be sort of one of the main towns that you come across. Could possibly be like the New Vegas area in Fallout New Vegas. Could be like a sort of central hub for quests and stuff. It looks pretty cool. There's obviously a supply shop, there's a noodle bar, which is just probably food supplies. There's also a chemist, like a medical centre you could go to. What's interesting about this is if you look in the background you can actually see spotlights, which I automatically linked to being in the stadium. So obviously stadiums will have spotlights to light them up at night time, and it's quite interesting that you see these spotlights with the lights like on the inside of them, so you can tell that this city is probably built within the actual stadium itself. So that's pretty cool. That's one thing that's pretty awesome. Next up we can see this statue, and in the background there's this huge blimp, which is pretty awesome if I'm not gonna lie. There's not much said about the blimp, so I can't really go into much detail. All that I can tell is that if you watch the trailer itself, there's Enclave, what I believe to be Enclave helicopters sort of flying around it, like escorting it. So there's a chance it's going to be related to Enclave if they're in the game, which previously I mentioned, which is pretty awesome. Next thing that also backs up the fact that it's in Boston is also this statue. Now it's incredibly hard to find this statue. Looked for a while, again with some help from my friend Tom. We managed to find it. It is actually in Boston. It's called the Paul Revere Monument, I think that's how you pronounce it. It's in front of a church. You can see in the background of the image there's sort of like a steeple, so that kind of backs up. The only difference is where the statue is in real life, compared to the one in game, there aren't like houses that close to it, so it's a possible link, but I'm not entirely sure. It's definitely that statue, we just don't know if that's the definite location of it just yet. But moving on, we have another image that backs up it being in Massachusetts, Boston, which is the State House, which you can tell by this sort of golden dome. Now this is the most obvious hint that we saw when the trailer first came out, because it's obviously quite like iconic, you can see it easily. So that just backs up that it's definitely going to be Boston setting. Next up we have this really cool image of Power Armour, the new Power Armour that's going to be in the game. It looks very similar to the Power Armour that the Brotherhood of Steel wear, so there's definitely a high chance that the Brotherhood of Steel are also going to be in this game. One interesting thing, well there's actually quite a few interesting things about this image, is that if you look in the background of the image you can see like laser rifles and other dismantled weapon parts. There's a minigun on the floor, there's a bobblehead, there's magazines in the background, all the magazines that used to boost your skills in the previous games. There's quite a lot of interesting things you can see. One theory that I did see on the internet, so I can't claim it as my own, but it's pretty interesting, is that you might actually be able to build and customize Power Armour, because as you can see here it's sort of like hanging up in a sort of garage maybe, and there's like parts and stuff like all over. It sort of looks like it's being half built. You can tell by the left arm it's sort of like half built maybe. That is probably room for Pip-Boy as well, so there's all sorts of theories going around that maybe you'll be able to customize armour, how it looks, how it performs and everything, so that's pretty awesome. Next up, I looked on the Fallout website once it finally let me get onto it, and I saw like a zoomed out image of this garage area, which every time I look at it seems to remind me of maybe it is sort of like a safe house you can go to. So you can go there, you can like upgrade your weapons, customize your weapons, upgrade your armor, customize your armor, all sorts of different stuff. It's sort of like the houses you used to get in Fallout 3 and in New Vegas, like you had the little penthouse suite. So it could be like that, this area. Obviously the zoomed out image, there's one interesting thing that I did notice as well, which is towards the very left, like bottom left of it, there's a gun which looks like a hunting rifle, possibly mixed with like a laser rifle or something else. It's definitely been modified in some way, and you can see it on the very last image of the trailer, which I'll show you in a little bit. There's must be a way to customize and mod your weapons like you could in New Vegas, which is awesome, because I found that really cool. Like putting scopes on weapons and changing how they actually performed was really cool. You could split laser rifles up into like tri-beam lasers and everything. It's pretty awesome, so it's good to see that they're going to bring something like that back. Now the next image that I saw, which is literally the end of the trailer, I don't know if many people will pick up on it, but it shows what I assume to be your character walking towards this station where the dog is based, which is probably going to be your companion throughout the whole game. And if you kind of look just at this big picture, you can see that it looks like you can actually travel the whole of that distance. There's like a road that leads all the way down off into the background, so it's pretty cool. It's showing basically the scale of how big this map will be. Now the theory that me and my friend Tom came up with was it's probably going to be the whole state of Massachusetts, which would be pretty awesome if it was, because it's huge. There's loads of different areas to it. You can see throughout the whole trailer itself there's like mountain areas, there's village areas, there's all sorts of areas, which is pretty awesome. And finally we have this very last image of the trailer, which shows the character you play, I assume in the Vault 111 jumpsuit with your dog companion and the customised rifle that I was talking about a little bit earlier. So it's pretty awesome, this image, because it basically shows the other end of the previous image. If you can go all the way back from the other image, you can go all the way forward from this image, which we know because you can see in the distance there's all the tall building structures that you saw closer up in the trailer. So the map for this game, Fallout 4, is looking huge. Like, this is the reason why I believe it's probably going to be the whole state of Massachusetts. It's massive. It's just huge. If you can play throughout this whole area, it will be absolutely amazing. My hopes are high for Fallout 4. I've loved the Fallout series for ages. I just really can't wait to play it. I'll definitely be bringing some more videos when more stuff comes out. They're doing a proper E3 announcement on the 14th of June, I believe. So there'll probably be a new trailer coming out, or maybe some even gameplay, which would be even better, which I'll try and bring you guys. So thank you very much for watching. I'm sure there's stuff that I might have missed or something that I didn't see. But if there is, I'll definitely just make another quick update video to show it. I love this game so much, I really can't wait for it to come out. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.